Okay, I'm not going to keep stating the obvious that you only leave the MDC or any facility, CI, Correctional Institute, if you have a severe injury, like you are dying. So Dr. Dwayne Hendricks joining me, former associate warden at MDC, where Combs is being housed, former senior warden with the U.S. Department of Justice. Have you had time to pick whether it was SOP that he leave at 2, 3 a.m. in the morning in the cover of darkness for an MRI, not life-threatening, or is there something else afoot?
No, I'd still believe that this was something that was pre-planned probably weeks in advance, especially planning with the hospital staff, because obviously most folks that are doing MRIs are working regular shifts between 9 to 5 or 10 to 6 in the evening. So apparently this operation was done. I mean, not an operation, but the planning to get him out to the hospital for this procedure was done in advance, and also so other inmates wouldn't know that he was leaving, and also other staff wouldn't be able to call media or anyone else and say, hey, P Diddy's leaving the institution, he's headed to this hospital, and then causing chaos in the facility, because at the end of the day, when other folks are there
Put
to
him
take
up.
care of themselves and get their well-being in order, the last thing you want is a media circus at the hospital, because folks want to get a photo of Mr. Combs, because obviously no one's seen a
Oh,
picture of
okay.
him.
So,
Yes. So,
right. So
you
you
know,
said it was the inmates. Now you're saying it's people on the outside that might try to get a photo. Okay, I smell waffling. But I think I know why he went to the hospital. I think he had, let's just say he hyperventilated. He had a little diva fit when he found out about this.
A superseding indictment accusing Combs of trafficking more women. It also extends the time frame of his alleged racketeering conspiracy. Prosecutors first accused the mogul of using Combs Enterprises as a criminal organization as far back as 2008. But they now allege the illegal activity began 4 years earlier, meaning Combs' pattern of abuse has gone on uninterrupted for 2 decades.
The amended indictment expands the list of drugs Combs and his associates are accused of distributing, which initially included cocaine, ketamine, and oxycodone. Now, methamphetamine and magic mushrooms have been added to the list of substances. Prosecutors also say he offered the women money and promises to help them advance their careers if they participated in his freak-offs.
The revised indictment alleges Combs employed kidnapping and arson. Prosecutors allege when Combs felt his authority or reputation was threatened, he and his associates responded with multiple arsons and kidnappings. Prosecutors claim during one such kidnapping, Combs was clearly armed with a gun.
Okay, joining me, renowned psychologist out of the Manhattan jurisdiction, TV radio trauma expert, consultant at KarenStark.com. Karen Stark joining us. Karen, that's enough to send me to the hospital in the cover of darkness. Did you hear all that? So, coincidentally, right at the same time he gets this extraordinary knee pain from an old injury, he gets a superseding indictment accusing him of trafficking more women. These are not additional charges, they're additional facts, Karen. Extending the time of the racketeering, in other words, the sex trafficking, to go back 2 decades. 2 decades of sex trafficking women against their will, of drugging them and raping them on video. That's going to be the charges. So here's about that. Now wait for it, that he plied them with cocaine, ketamine, and oxycodone, methamphetamine, magic mushrooms, wait, and arson and kidnap. Yeah, that would make my knee hurt, to put it mildly, Karen Stark. What are psychosomatic injuries?
Psychosomatic injuries are injuries that feel like they're real, but actually they are not real. And it would make a lot of sense to me as a psychologist that he would come up with something like that, or exacerbate the fact that he has knee injury when all of these charges are coming out about him, Nancy, because it shows that these things that he did were not isolated incidents, what you see is a pattern of abuse, control, power that was going on for decades and getting worse over time. So this guy is not just a narcissist, which is bad enough, but he's an antisocial personality. He's evil, and he was able to get away with it for a long time.
You know, the term, Karen Stark, malingering comes to mind. Could you explain what is malingering in your book? Basically, a psychologist's Bible, the DSM. What's malingering?
Malingering is that he's coming up with things that are not true, that he's saying he has knee pain or he has some other pain, and he's keeps talking about it so that he can get away with things, that he can get out of there, that he could be hidden for a while.
Let's talk about that just one moment. Dr. Dwayne Hendricks joining me, former warden at MDC, where Combs is housed. So, Dr. Dwayne Hendricks, just because your knee hurts, you get taken out of the jail. How many other inmates do you believe have knee pain? Probably all of them now.
Yeah, and if this was a fact that he was malingering, I mean, it was reported that during the holiday season he had a spaz where he was talking about he was having heart palpitations or something like that, and he needed to meditate to calm down. In that case, they didn't let him out for that particular reasons. But I honestly believe
Wait,
that
put him
this was an
up.
issue. I
Of
honestly
course they
believe.
didn't let him out because he, quote, needed to calm down and meditate.
Right.
How many
Yeah,
other inmates are now going to claim, oh, my knee hurts? All of them.
if
Why
that
is
was the
he
case,
getting to go out? What, did they take him out in a limousine, Hendricks?
no, they took him out in a van, a secure van with him with shackles on his legs and Martin chain and black box around his hands. So it's
Meditate.
not like he didn't go out on a field trip. I can tell you that. He went out to get
Meditate
this.
my rear end. Joining me right now, Bill Wolf, former detective in charge of human trafficking in Northern Virginia, author of Eradicating Human Trafficking, a transformative approach to collective impact, received the Presidential Medal for extraordinary efforts to combat trafficking. Wow. Bill Wolf joining me. So, Bill Wolf, too bad he didn't meditate over the last 2 decades when he is accused of sex trafficking. Can you explain what sex trafficking does to a victim, Bill Wolf?
Absolutely. You know, this guy is just pure evil and absolutely a narcissist. The fact that he can take people, humans, especially kids, young people, and exploit them for sex and profit, it's absolutely disgusting. And the victims have to live with this for the rest of their lives. I mean, can you imagine somebody that's sexually assaulted over and over and over again at the hands of somebody like P. Diddy, and then have to live with that, the trauma for the rest of their lives? It's absolutely apprehensible.
Please join us on our mission to find missing people, especially children, to solve unsolved homicides. If you're on the go, catch us on your favorite podcast app where you can get all of our content where we, in our own way, seek justice.
The superseding indictment appears to include the allegation from fashion designer Brianna Bongelin that Diddy dangled her over the edge of a 17th floor balcony, listing it as just one example of how Combs used force to combat threats to his reputation. Just months after beating Cassie Ventura at the Intercontinental Hotel, Bongelin claims an intoxicated Combs let himself into Ventura's apartment looking for his girlfriend, but only found Bongelin, who had spent the night there. Enraged, Diddy grabbed Bongelin by the armpits, dangled her off the edge of the balcony, and threatened to drop her until Ventura happened to arrive home and put a stop to the incident.
Dangling a model off the 17th floor balcony? Okay, Marjorie Hernandez joining me, host and writer of The Trial of Diddy, a Daily Mail podcast. What?
That's one of the more shocking details. And Brianna Bana, as she's known, she's actually a longtime friend of Cassie and also a fashion designer. So as her claims, she also had sued Diddy and the allegations that she was, again, dangled off the 17th floor. And Diddy essentially had threatened her life. And it was Cassie who essentially stopped him from and saved her. But this is, again, a pattern. It shows a pattern of his complete control over a lot of these victims, alleged victims.
You know, Marjorie, I agree, complete control, because that was never reported to police. To Robert Crispin joining us, private investigator with Crispin Special Investigations, but former federal task force. Have you ever seen a defendant, a suspect, a perp, that is so drunk on power they can totally control their victim, and they know they'll get away with it?
Yeah, I've seen it a lot of times. He has no filter when it comes to abusing women, and he's just an animal when it comes to abusing these women. And he thinks he's untouchable, which is why a lot of this stuff went unreported, because everyone was afraid to take down P. Diddy. Hence, why these superseding indictments are such beautiful tools in the federal government. Because as the government starts to systematically go through all the witnesses, gaining new witnesses, new witness statements, going through all this evidence, going through these videos, they're starting to build their case and making it bigger and bigger and bigger. Hence why you're starting to see these things are coming forward. So the first indictment got him off the street, which should have happened way before it did. But now these superseding indictments, and I hence will probably feel that you're going to see probably one or two more coming, as they start to talk to more witnesses and they start getting more evidence, and more of the stuff in these videos starts coming out, because the timing's perfect for these superseding indictments. They've had time to talk to these witnesses. They've had time to look at these videos. Don't forget, they took a lot of footage from both these houses in Miami and in Los Angeles. It's all starting to come together. Diddy's world is crashing, and he is in an 8-foot cell. He's got no contact with the outside world. He's not used to this, and he's falling apart. And you're about to see a grown man who is an animal towards women become a crying dog in a jail cell. And he is a target in jail. He's a prize for somebody who's doing life who will kill him. If they give him the opportunity, that's a badge of honor. I killed P. Diddy. Sadly enough, there's a bunch of guards, but not every single person can be watched every single minute of the day. He's absolutely a target, just like Epstein was a target.
You know what you just said, Crispin, is absolutely right. And it's hard for people that have not been in the system to understand that. And I don't want them to understand that. I don't want them to be part of our world. But there are people behind bars that would consider it a great honor to murder Diddy. That would be, they go down in the history books, right? That's the way they think. It's not the way we think. That's the way they think.
A superseding indictment for Sean Puffy Combs alleges the rapper sex trafficked at least 3 women over the course of 2 decades.
So check this out, yo. Justin, you ever seen the movie 48 Hours? Right now, he's having 48 hours with Diddy, him and his boy. They're having the times of their lives, like you know, where we hanging out and what we doing. We can't really disclose, but it's definitely a 15-year-old's dream. You know, I have been given custody of him. You know, he signed to Usher.
I'm signed to Usher.
I had legal guardianship of Usher when you know he did his first album. I did Usher's first album. I don't have legal guardianship of him, but for the next 48 hours, he's with me. So and we gonna go full crazy.
I'm going crazy.
That from Justin Bieber's YouTube page. Oh, dear Lord in heaven. Why would Sean Combs have custody of Usher when he was a minor? And why would Sean Combs be handed over on a silver platter Justin Bieber? I mean, in that picture, he looks like he's 10 years old in that video from his own social. To Marjorie Hernandez joining us, West Coast News editor, Daily Mail, and host and writer of the Trial of DIDDY podcast. How has Justin Bieber and Trump Towers, but let's start with Bieber, been pulled into Sean Combs, aka Diddy's vortex?
Well, recent footage of Justin wandering around Los Angeles, he does not look well at all. And a lot of people have suspected it's because of his name being dragged into this drama with Diddy. And, seeing those old videos now, it's really haunting to see such a young Justin, essentially be turned over to Diddy and have Diddy again having control over such a young and impressionable Justin Bieber. And now it seems like all of this trauma is resurfacing. He does not look well in some of the footage that we've recently seen. There was also this drama about him unfollowing his wife on Instagram. Yet the interesting point, he still follows Diddy. So we're not sure what's going on there, but it does seem like he is unwell.